Well, here we go. Another feast cycle has come and gone. I hope everybody who celebrated Sukkot, Tabernacles, I hope you guys had a fantastic time. My family and I did. We got to reconnect with a lot of folks that we haven't seen in a very long time. And we got to connect with some people that are new and that we got to meet for the first time and hang out with. And it was great. It was we needed that. That's for sure. But with all that said, here we are back in our environments where we work, where we play, where we live. Some of them are better than others. Um, it is what it is, right? You know, with that, we have these man-made holidays coming up. I mean, Halloween just passed, and I've listen. I came from the church. I grew up in the church, and the whole Halloween thing. I never understood why churches and religious organizations would promote that day, and I understand why they would do it, try to keep the kids safe or whatever, but I don't understand from Bible believing why you would promote that day. When you can go to, I mean, if you just go look at what Anton LaVey says about dressing up and painting oneself and like you're celebrating the devil. And this guy is the guy who made the Church of Satan, and again, you can take it for what it is, but he says I think he said one of his quotes was he's so happy that Christian parents allow their kids to worship the devil one day a year. Worship the devil. This guy said that. I don't know about you, but that right there almost would make me rethink it. Even still being in the church. Anyway. That's my little rant on that. I'm not. You can do whatever you want to do. Obviously, you and your kids, whatever. That's between you and the Creator. I'm just saying, I never understood it. But with that, we have this giant catastrophic nightmare really happening here in a couple of days with this election. We got a lot of people voting for one side and a lot of people voting for the other side. And whatever side you're on, I just hope you did your homework because, you know, you're selecting for a job. And some people are better at jobs than others. I'm not saying they're Messiah like, which some people have made people out to be, but they're better at a job. The country's a job. Um, I'm not trying to make this political or against all the, even with the whole Christmas, Easter, Halloween thing, whatever. But what I do want to make this about is, you know, especially in the Torah, Hebrew roots, Messianic communities, you know, we think we got it put together coming out of this church and doing this thing. We do not have it put together. Um, we got leaders and teachers fighting each other, talking about each other, not working together. It's very horrible because for some reason they think they own the people and the people belong to them. And yeah, well, they don't. They belong to Yeshua. They don't belong to you. You're in a facilitator shepherd role. So hope some days some of these guys can figure this out. It's very frustrating to see a lot of people hurt over these things. The Torah terrorist thing, all that. It's like, we're arguing about calendars, the shape of the earth, all these things, and it's like we don't even know how to love people no more. It's pretty insane, really, when you think about it. Um, but with this election and voting for these people, and some people hate one, and some people hate the other, and whatever. You know, it's almost the candidates are the lesser of the two evil, right? It is what it is. That's just how it is. But I blame us. I absolutely blame believers. I blame believers. I blame me. I blame, you know, my parents. I blame other believers. Now, I'm in a I'm in a different, sort of way I believe now. I believe that, God put things in the Bible that we're to adhere to, the whole Bible, not just the back of the Bible. So I do believe a different way than my parents taught me to believe now, and that's okay. But I do believe that we are to represent the creator of the universe and the things that we're supposed to be doing. And one of those things that we're supposed to be doing is helping communities and being a part of bringing them up and praying for them and being an image bearer in our communities. But you know what a lot of I see is, especially in the Torah community, we get this thing and we run off and hide. I'm not saying going off and buying land and trying to grow your own food or do your own thing is a bad thing, because it's absolutely not. I think self-sufficiency is a fantastic thing and way we should all think, right? But we get this community idea. We get this, oh, we need to run and build all this stuff. Well, he, he actually never told us to do that. It's the idea of being in the world and not of the world, and the way Yeshua prayed about his disciples. And, you know, he prayed not to take them out of the world, but to protect them from the evil one, right? Because they have jobs to do. You have jobs. We have roles as believers in communities where we're at. And I was thinking about this, and he addresses this. He being, God addresses this thing in Jeremiah 29. And I got this pulled up here, so if you see me looking at something, it's because I don't want to butcher it when I say it. But in Jeremiah 29, 5, actually, if you go to 4, and I'm reading from the ESV. I know some people might hate that, some people might not. It's just, I think it's just a kind of a easy wording so everybody can hear it and kind of understand it. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. So, we know that in the Torah community, we know that Israel got sent out. They never got brought back. Judah and Benjamin stayed, right? They got brought back. So, he's talking to them, the exiles, right? And Judah and Benjamin while they're in exile. But eventually they came back. We know that. Here's what he says: build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have your sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease, but seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Nowhere does that say that we should run and hide. Nowhere. And these are people in exile. These are people being sent into exile. These are people who have everything stripped from them. And he's telling them, you're an image bearer of me, the king. So even though you're being punished right now, you're in timeout, whatever you want to call it, you are still to represent me in the ways that I am. Righteousness, justice, equal weights and measures, preservation of life, all the things that God said his throne and his kingdom is built on. You're to represent me wherever you're at, where I sent you. So even though this place where I'm at right now, I'm not a big fan of it. I was born and raised here. I've tried to escape a couple of times. Didn't work out so well. So I'm not saying that I might not ever get to leave. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is he tells us how to be. And we are in dispersion, right? We are in, believers in Yeshua are in dispersion. We are in captivity throughout the world because we're not in his kingdom with him ruling, making all the calls from the throne and doing this stuff. So this election coming up, and the elections within your city gates, your state officials, all the things that are that this government does, how this government operates with electing people, we are not doing our job. We're complaining and getting upset because living in Babylon, Rome, whatever you want to call it, is upsetting to us because they have all these ways that we don't support. But we're not doing nothing about it. We're running and hiding our lamp underneath a bushel and not setting it up on the hill where the people can see. We're fighting over the shape of the earth, which calendar we observe, which commandments are more important than the other ones, how we do Shabbats, not how to love one another, not how to be understanding with one another, that we're all trying to figure this thing out. And we don't have the representative who sits on the throne to declare everything to us on every little minute level. He gives us the ability to read and think these things through and try to understand how people throughout the ages have done different things. But we're coming to a point, especially in this country, where if we as believers, and I even mean, in the Christianity, in the church, Orthodox Judaism, and in synagogues, in worshiping places, and Torah observing people, as far as Messianic Hebrew roots is concerned, as a whole, if we don't start doing our job and standing up for our communities and start being a part of these things, because back in the day, business owners and believers were the ones who took public official jobs and stood up because they needed to represent the people, because Yeshua says, take care of the people, take care of the widows, the orphans. How are we going to do that if we don't start trying to look out for them?